Put a page in front of the screen.
Just like a piece of paper.
You gotta start.
Yeah, I'm good. You guys listening? Okay, cool. Oh, where are the judges? Those are very good. SAB writes in 11, indentured servitude was a form of labor. Poor individuals would provide services demanded by masters in exchange for lodging. The system persists. Instead of calling workers indentured servants, the NCAA calls them student athletes. Over 98% of indentured athletes do not make it to the professional level. The indentured athlete does not receive any paycheck. Part 1 is the rules of the game. The rule of the ballot is to vote for the debater of the best methodologically resist structural repression. One structural line based on one solution which is fundamentally flawed because the solution is not self-observed, rather on arbitrarily perceived differences. Winter late night 9. To recognize structural lines force us ask questions about why we tolerate which are painful is for the privilege to lead normal central process by people to enact themselves outside of implied sides of justice. Injustice is barely noticed and versus those invisible those who fall outside and will lead exclude structural lines and not neville. If we become aware of its operation, build systematic ways to mitigate effects, only about structural lines can empower citizens to reduce by demanding social justice and living wages. 2. A debate should deal with the questions of real consequences. Ideal theories ignore the concrete nature of the world, legitimize oppression. Curry 14. Despite the pronouncement of the debate saying to the point of real consequences, main discussions fixed to a paradigm which sees the adjudication of material disparities in sociological realities and conquest of one ideal theory of another. The ideal theory applies more theory soul sense as a whole sense I steal by definition with normative issues. The conceptual cast with the amount of largest actual problems in the world and how we frame such problems is most obvious cause for any theoretical paradigm. Such a paradigm exists on the actuals of base of what can be considered normatively for any empirical phenomenon and ideal self-representation. One last room shaft this capture and see real discussion about the concrete nature of oppression. One distinguishes ideal theory from reliance on idealization exclusion of the actual. We cannot suggest very complexities of social problems internalizable by any one set of theories. Be our most cherished Afro-pessimism, found Marxism, or the like theoretical endorsements makes us aware of a set of action to address our problems in the world. 3. Discussion of athletics is uniquely important to be as a vehicle to promote greater social change. Kaufman and Wolf 10. Sport can be a vehicle for social change. Sport can promote greater participatory democracy. The struggle to achieve fully democratized sport by transform communities. This vision of athletic pursuits may help foster integrative orientation by helping level differences in gender, race, class, religious, sports, youth, like cooperation, cohesiveness, reciprocity, and respect. It seems only logical to use this orientation to extend these values out into the social world. Part 2. The game is rigged. College sports are the modern apartheid. Black athletes make money for white institutions under the guise of amateurism. McCormick and McCormick 10. College sports flourish on the basis of an apartheid system that sanctions exploitation of African American for the gain of commercial gain of European Americans. College football and men's basketball careers are disproportionately African American and generate immense sums of money. NCAA rules obligate players to live by a code of amateurism that precludes the opportunity or compensation. We look at the racial composition of the players and compare that with the racial composition of president, directors, and coaches. Largely African American labor that generates wealth for European American individuals. Rules have a disparate economic impact. Justice looks skeptically upon rules that, while neutral and face for racial minorities, skepticism born out of slavery has given rise to the efforts to impact the theory of employment discrimination. NCAA amateurism rules financially exploit African American young men. Major college sports have become a commercial enterprise. Like apartheid system has separated races and classes and assigned the burdens to one while reserving financial rewards for the other. And the NCAA is the new plantation. Athletes are viewed as disposable, don't need rights because they're on scholarship. Athletes are forced to train for hours a day with no compensation for their bodies on display. Golf 13. College athletes should be compensated. Arian Foster missed after winning the game of college. Realized he had nothing to eat or money running through the original system was classes, not races. Now is both athletes work sometimes at the point of injury, death for profit of others who were significantly better off financially in other positions. However, I would compare it to a colonial system. People don't need rights because you're taking care of them. Players are not guaranteed enough or an education if an injury renders them unable to play. Many of them are not receiving high quality education because that interferes with their ability to train. And economic exploitation of college athletes uniquely contributes to black male visibility, solidifies racial hierarchy, and commodifies black athletic performance. Reading 13. There's an institutionalization of cultural and social racism coupled with economic exploitation within white institutions. Black athletes sigma may disproportionately impact black students, making these students feel invisible. The alienation which occurs as a byproduct of commodifications and economic relation, the condition of valuation or set of real conditions that exist in societies where the means of production are owned by or controlled by minority. For black athletes, their sense of racial invisibility starts juxtaposed with a hyper-visibility, reinforming that schools value their athletic competency but not their academic potential. Black athletes are more likely than not black peers to feel exploited. Alienation, exploitation, led to draw parallels between sports and slavery. College athletes have few opportunities to exercise their rights by commodifying African American athletic performance in college sports institutions. College sports institutions where racial hierarchies of intellectuals, physical superiority. These racial hierarchies are reproduced within a larger discourse and division, adding to a cultural logic which racial ideologies of black physical superiority and intellectual weaknesses. Part 3, pay to play. plan, the United States federal government also required that colleges and universities pay a living wage to athletes representing those institutions in the National Collegiate Athletic Association events. And living wage also would be adjusted for the local standards of living. Miller 14. Here's my proposal: pay the players a living wage and hourly living wage. The same for each payer on scholarship, which adjusts slightly among the universities by local standards of living. Would provide athletes with some walking around money. Will break the bank of our institutions of higher learning, and a living wage would ameliorate poverty for students, athletes, and give them the material needs to survive. Morehead 13. Athletes are not the basic right to be paid for skills, even though billions of dollars are being garnered in profits. Many players come from come from poor families. These athletes have financial aid, scholarships, and have no other means to survive. Please say basketball players were some of these charges of expropriating food. This isn't like others point to the bigger argument for athletes to have a living wage and to take care of their needs and struggling families. And any system that without a living wage is manifestly unfair, relies on exploitation of athletes. It's uniquely necessary that schools pay a living wage. Governing 95. Consider the anomaly of the system sports depend on the revenues generated by student athletes that provides young men and women of living wage. This system is manifestly unfair. We should face up to that and ask ourselves whether the present system and amateurism are available in institutions of education. Athletes are semi-professionals. The NCAA bringing in huge sums of money for laborers and not providing them with a living wage is indefensible. And USFG action scheme regulates institutions of higher education and the NCAA. Huma and Sorowski 11. While the DOJ should become heavily DOJ should become involved in addressing NCAA antitrust violation, Congress to become a vehicle that can bring comprehensive reform as jurisdiction over higher education, interstate commerce, and can implement legislation nationwide. States can not implement reforms without risking the exclusion of their programs. NCAA's monopoly power around state governments and without an active Congress programs will continue to spiral into the beast and the living wage and actualization of political philosophy that we run values. Grade 14. Between the colonizers and the colonizer to move forward slavery, colonization, equal sanctification, living wage is actualization of revolution value in the transubstantiation of humans and that which not part of them thing but person. We were separate being oriented, person oriented. We believe that some people are simply labor conditioned by the history of black dehumanization. That's correct to say dehumanization.
Okay. Bennett, are you white or not?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That being said, let's look specifically at the advocacy text, right? We specifically talk about how the USFG should force these institutions to pay like living wage to these basketball players, correct?
I mean, not just basketball, but yeah, you functionally just read the point.
Okay, right. So why does it necessarily mean it's going to create that mindset shift that the Curry analysis at the bottom of the 1AC is talking about?
Okay, I mean, the Curry argument provides the warrant for the mindset shift. The mindset shift is also not key to 1AC solids.
So people still won't just like look at them on TV and commodify their bodies, pimp out their basketball skills, and simply allow them to go to the NBA and like make money off their commercials?
Okay, there are two arguments. The first is no, that will not happen.
Why not?
That is the Curry evidence. So
wait, okay, so that won't happen because of the Curry evidence, but doesn't the Curry evidence at the top of the 1AC say that we have to reject ideal theories? So you're saying an implementation of the plan will be like completely fine and none of this commodification will happen?
Obviously, I don't say the plan is perfect or the plan
right,
is all
of course the
racing.
plan's not perfect, right? But what you're saying is that but if we have this like living wage, then we'll have a mindset shift where they won't be commodified. Where's the warrant for that? Or is it just because Curry's a philosopher, you feel like everything he says is correct?
I mean, I think Curry's pretty smart.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. But how does the plan text do that mindset shift that you're talking about?
Okay, so the argument is that, specifically in the context of mindset shifts, the argument is that the living wage is something that forces the employer, or in this case, universities, or like colleges, universities, to recognize that athletes actually have some value, absent they're just like competition value, right?
Wait, why would it necessarily mean that they're going to have some value just because they pay them the living wage?
Okay, that is literally what I just explained. The argument is that it forces them to recognize that because they're then forced to pay them a living wage. They can no longer exploit them as if they
why can't
literally
they just like get rid of them?
What do you
why won't things like that just happen? Or are you just assuming that they're going to automatically have this mindset shift?
It is obviously not an assumption.
Why is it not an assumption? So when white people are forced to pay things, they automatically assume, hey, yeah, we're definitely not going to
pay. SunHee, the way you were portraying the act is like white people do things and suddenly the mindset shift occurs. The argument is not like through the power of magic occurs. I think the argument is pretty clear.
So then how does it occur?
I think the argument is pretty clear that the living wage is rooted in some sort of value orientation that recognizes workers are not things because they're individuals worthy of receiving a wage.
Okay, Bennett, I heard you the first time, but doesn't that assume that white people are actually going to do that?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of. I'm not really sure what that means.
I'm going to start thinking about it.
Okay. Oh, it's fine. Called one with CV retail after the top of the box.
Alright. So we're just gonna do 2 actually. Okay. Is everybody ready?
Is there a specific order like this?
Straight down. Because the resolution lets whiteness off the hook, I negate the role of judge to be an educator who questions whether civil society is ethical and should exist. I agree with his role about we have to have deconstruct violent social structures in order to actually liberate different bodies. A's inherency, the status will continue to oppress black people with faces with hope as an attempt to reinvigorate our faith in the dream of America in order to condemn us to death. This is seen in the election of President Obama. Melanie Price writes, the inability of the federal government to help stranded black citizens in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina led many plastic questions the gains made in previous decades. The Katrina event, Obama's nomination and ultimate victory embodies the paradox of black relationships to the U.S. given that a particularly low one for African Americans. Blacks were bullied by the election of the first black president. These demonstrate the push and pull factors that reinforce black policy in America, create the necessary space for black nationalism to take hold. They highlight the instability of black access to full citizenship rights. The best path to African American political empowerment continues to present a puzzle for individuals in the African American community and for America. Thus the counterpoint text. The United States federal government also requires that colleges and universities pay a living wage to athletes representing those institutions, national collegiate athletic association events, except for the black ones. B is net benefits. First, the overtly racist nature of the plan is key to promoting black nationalist agenda. Price 2. The current political climate, racial hostility is publicly denounced, and several attempts of retreat from civil rights gains endure the resurgence of black nationalism, birth, fertile, and bridal, because there's a high level of disruptive current conditions for blacks. Many feel black should have progressed much further than the 40 years since the height of the civil rights movement. Conditions foster interracial ties between blacks seem to be weaker than in previous iterations of black nationalist prominence. Blacks still seem to fate is tied to that of other blacks, but they are engaging in high degrees of black men that least a condition, or rather than always support for community empowerment efforts. The gap between the black part and the middle class continues to widen. The ability to opt out of the black community is more attainable than ever before. An absence of risk segregation politics that reinforce black communal solidarity. Black withdraw entirely from the African American community. Only in the past, when the only retreat from the racial hostility was posting oneself in the black community, blacks now have more options in terms of racial coping strategies. C is solvency. The concept of liberation from faith in the American social structure and move towards black nationalism is the only hope for black people to survive and create an independent power base. This can take the form in bottom-up politics that could even result in an independent basketball or college sports or association. As long as it's all black, everything is always going to be better. Price 3. Black nationalism is at various levels withdraw from the American political system. More popular have been reserved forms of black nationalism that endeavor to protect and maintain African American culture and traditions separate and apart from others. For black nationalists, the African American identity is essential to how they define themselves. Identity transformation is crucial. Mobilizing element of black nationalism accomplished largely by strengthening connection to individuals' culture, traditions, struggles throughout the African diaspora community, empowerment, and progress of central beliefs of black nationalism. To take a look inward for reasons to address the needs of the community and black independence is realized through interaction transactions with black businesses, community centers, and other organizations. African Americans have to undergo cognitive liberation, which they achieve white American norms and values, religions, and faith, and legitimacy of the current system, and understand the current situation, changeable, initiate, demands, and believe they are capable of changing the system through their own strategic actions. Mark the card there. When you've been tricked for so long, you forget you're being tricked in the first place. The counterpoint is rejected everyone in once we were emancipated HBCUs, now we have the creation of organizations like Association of Black Lawyers in DC, which led to the incredibly lower Black incarceration rates. We need to recognize that the system is not meant for us and never will be. Next, not just sad. He's literally acting like the white Messiah deserving of award and saving the black and brown charity cases. He takes pity on me. He has placed himself in an economy of gratitude where he deserves the ballot because he talked about black and brown people and how they are oppressing the NCAA. This because it raise anti-black violence because it makes black bodies dependent on white savior, not for 3. White activism, especially white anti-racism, is predicated on an economy of gratitude. Don't assume that just because I have to ask you for resources that doesn't hurt me, pay me. Don't assume that when you come into this space that it doesn't bother me. Don't assume that when you talk the most and talk most often, this doesn't hurt me. All these things remind me how powerless white people are, albeit differently in relation to white people. Not white people are forced to feel dependent and grateful to white people who actually interact with us. We're made to feel like we're inferior and capable of that we really do need white people. There's no way a white person can relate or try to express the pain that people of color face because instead of actually expressing something, the suffering of the people becomes a commodity for white gays to use as self-legitimization, not for 3. White people's bodies are not trapped in locked up in prison, detention centers, juvenile system, detention halls, and classroom special education classes, etc. White people's bodies are not generally inside fear. Now some might point out to me that white people are followed, tracked, and harassed. Conversely, other racial groups, particularly blacks and Native Americans, are considered inherently criminal no matter what they do, what their sexual identity is, or what were these people to consider how they're reproducing a violence towards blackness in an attempt to taunt and challenge the police in their efforts. Case. Turn the one he is controlled by the potentiality of whiteness. He is the ideal theory that Curry indicts Curry writes. Certainly we have taken ethics to be any rational procedure by which we determine human beings ought. This rational procedure is at odds with empirical reality. Government its citizens or white people should act justly assumes the possibility of how they act defines their moral disposition and ethical deliberation dealing with the problem of racism. It is common to attribute to historically racist institutions and individuals universal moral qualities that have yet to be demonstrated. That abstraction from reality to embrace our ethical norms and lessons maintain that racism seems to act justly given the choice. The only ethical deliberation must be anti-ethical. This one functions twofold. First, he assumes that the United States federal government or white institutions like the NCAA is actually going to be able to have a mindset shift that the Curry analysis is talking about the living wage. That means that the entire dialogue is controlled by the idea that white people are going to magically change their mind too. This also functions as an anti-Venice performance. He can't separate his performance from the arguments that he's presenting. He's assuming that we have to affirm what he brought into this space is way too liberate black and brown bodies within the NCAA. This is problematic because it assumes that Bennett is actually authentic with his actions. We don't care. Additionally, whiteness is the rule of law within every notion of civil society. Whiteness replicates itself everywhere. Parley 5. Slavery was still we are hunted by slavery. The movement from slavery to segregation, neo-segregation, the movement of slavery perfecting itself. Slavery is the rule of law, and slavery is death. Slavery perfects itself as a slave when bound down before the master of his own free will. The slave can only be taken under the conditions of legal equality only after emancipation, and legal equality only after rights. The slave perfects itself as a slave too. Wait, when slavery is to see that everything must go, every law, every great house, every plantation, all of the requests for equality and freedom will always fail. Why? Because the fact that the need itself means that the request will fail. The market race, the market system, the market is a system. This specifically indicts the plan text because the plan text is simply functioning within the system, saying that the USFG is going to mandate this and that the NCAA is going to actually do this. The plan text is assuming that these black and brown players that he specifically cites as the golf evidence or the reading evidence are going to be able to have access to these systems. This is definitely not true. Additionally, the Mormon evidence specifically talks about how it's going to solve for poverty and exploitation. However, in turn, the living wage uniquely hinders movement against capitalism by attempting to alleviate harmful social conditions while attempting to destroy the system themselves. Wolf 06. Capitalist exploitation can be difficult to sustain even have been imposed on workers for example, exploitation and social effects. As with all exploitative system theories are advanced and disseminated by capitalist organic intellectuals that make exploitation invisible. So, funded in its existence, such theories parallel to counterpoint slavery, feudalism, whereas argued that slaves and serfs were not exploited because rather they're protected, culturally uplifted, and so on by the lords and masters. This direct approach is a straight case study because even if they're paid the living wage, they're still going to be pimped up by the system. They're still going to make money off of commercials. They're still going to make money off the fact that they're playing basketball for those college. They're still going to be a commodity. He doesn't solve for that impact. This also means that he doesn't get access to the Curry analysis because there's no mindset shift that's going to happen. White people don't give a damn about black people. We're definitely not going to take his word for it, so you can default out because it's black nationalist and separate from these types of institutions.
Cool, so we're good. Status of the counter.
What?
Status of the counter plan.
Unconditional.
I didn't hear you.
Unconditional.
Cool, so we'll kind of the whole round?
Yeah.
Alright, let's talk about Nauper.
Yeah.
So, I'm confused about the link argument. Is it a link to the USFG implements it and they're the
No,
white
it's a link
side,
to
or
you,
am I the white
Brian. It's a
side?
link to you.
Okay, so me reading the abstract.
Yeah, like specifically talking about how you're going to solve for the invisibility of the black male and you should be given the ballot is problematic because you're pimping out our oppression.
Okay, sure. Let's talk about the case arguments. The first one you make is that the state cannot, I guess, the functional argument is that the state cannot be anti-ethical, or that we cannot work within the system, right?
What?
You say that abstraction from reality, or an abstraction is like a space.
The Curry evidence that I put on cases is because of the fact that the entire dialogue is controlled by the potentiality of whiteness. In cross-sex, you literally said that the Curry evidence, because it's saying a mindset shift is going to happen, means that white people are automatically going to shift in their mindset and actually respect it.
Okay, so the link to Curry is that white people will already automatically shift in their mindset?
No, it's that the dialogue is controlled by the potentiality of whiteness.
No, you gotta use little words, SunHee.
Okay, so let me break it down. The conversation that we're having, right, is going to be completely dominated by whether white people will give a damn about black people or not. Cool?
Sure. Let's talk about. Let's talk about the counterplan.
Yeah.
So you say that the status quo continues to oppress black people because I guess they haven't had a black nationalist movement yet.
That's not exactly what it says, but go ahead.
Okay, so you say a black nationalist movement will be good. The argument you make, though, is that currently the reason that they haven't is because of Obama, right?
No, not specifically just because
Why
of
hasn't it
Obama,
happened?
right? Because of all the institutional racism that happens behind the scenes, right? So it starts with because Obama was president, then people believe that racism doesn't exist, but it also has different implications. For example, we've had strides since the Civil Rights Movement. It specifically gives the example that people believe that blacks should progress further, and because of that, they engage in black blame rather than
So what is
focusing
the
on
internal link
institutions.
argument? This card has literally one sentence that gives you a link argument. It says, in the absence of overt segregation that policies that reinforce blacks' communal solidarity, some blacks withdraw entirely from the African American community. This seems to say, absent some sort of overtly racist policy, people will start withdrawing from the black community. Where's the argument that if there is an overtly racist policy, that will support a black nationalist?
Right, the argument is history, right? So for example, when we had things like slavery, blacks were very easily able to come together and find ways in which
how did
they
that
could
result in
actively
black
raise
nationalism there?
So the argument is just talking about ways in which they were able to protect themselves. So even
so the argument is just that the counterplan is a vehicle for social change, while the app is not.
Well, a specific type of social change that allows for them to take matters into their own hands.
Cool. I'll start there. What is black nationalism?
What is black nationalism?
Yep.
That's in the primary evidence, so that would be black interdependence, supporting community-based organizations,
Okay,
and
cool.
government strategies.
144. That should do. Cool. Welcome. The order is case, top down, pretty much the same order she went. I'll make sure to sign codes. Black nationalism, and then Albert. Alright, is everyone good?
Yeah.
First, you can see the framing issue for the debate that takes out the Korea 14 arguments at the top of the 1AC that you should attempt to alleviate material conditions of suffering. That's the Korea, that is Korea 14, the 2 point under the 1AC framework. You should uniquely prefer this because first assume it starts from some abstract stance that we will never be able to have some sort of value reorientation. Sure, there might never be a value reorientation, but we will at least be able to put food in the mouths of starving people, which is comparatively better than doing nothing and allowing them to continue to suffer. You say that the state cannot be anti-ethical, and assuming white people have a value reorientation is bad. It's not an assumption there will be value reorientation. It's just that solving the tangible harms of oppression is at least probably a good thing. Next is send the wolf evidence out of the third argument of the 1AC framework takes out literally every argument you have made in the 1AC because sports are a vehicle for social change, which means that the 1AC is a necessary prerequisite to other movements. This also takes out the wolf card you read because sure, a living wage normally might stop movements, but in the context of sports, it will just create more solidarity to move towards movements like things like black independence, which means that it also solves the net benefit of the counterplan. You read this broadly code that we always attempt to perfect the slave. One, you should evolve to tangible conditions of oppression first. The slave should at least be able to eat. The slave should at least be able to survive. Two, you do not try or die. You do not have anything that even resembles a reason that the counterplan solves the perfection of the slave argument. You rely on the counterplan to provide you uniqueness, which means if I want to solve the deficit of the counterplan, then you do not get that argument. Next, go to part two, extend McCormick and McCormick. This is conceded that the current support system is a modern part that uniquely attempts to profit white individuals at the expense of black people, and you have conceded in Moorhead 13 that the 1AC is uniquely critical to alleviate material conditions like poverty so people can actually eat in the first place. If I went to tangible harms that way, then the debate is over. Now, go to the counterplan. First, permutation due to the counterplan. There is no reason it is intentionally competitive with the app. She says that you should do it just for black people, but the 1AC plan text does not say that it is done for all college athletes. It just says college athletes, which means the lack of the word all means that the permutation is not intentionally competitive. Permuting the counterplan solves all the offense means means that you obviously would vote for me, but either way, the counterplan has a lot of problems in it. First, there is nothing that closely resembles an internal like there have been overtly racist policies before. She says like slavery, but that did not result in black nationalism, which just brought us to the status quo, which empirically denies what she says is a historical solvency argument for her. Also, specifically off of her inherency argument, not unique. Black people are angry with Obama now. The ring was immigration. There is no reason that the counterplan will do anything that uniquely solves right 13. An increasing number of blacks appear to be getting angry with Obama took for years and voting for Obama. Second after blacks realize the president doesn't care. Immigration, the president's determination again. The legislation passed granted amnesty to illegal aliens seem to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Blacks want to know when the first black president will focus on impacting blacks like rising poverty, unemployment, and incarceration, growing education gap and economic decline. The breakdown of the black flaming Obama won't even give blacks a crumb. He is yet to name one black person to fill the cabinet position in his second term. You also don't have a reason that black nationalism will solve immediate short-term conditions of oppression. You just say that there should be a long-term transition to black nationalism that will do some good things, but your bottom-up approach will never do things like feed individuals in the first place, which means that I'm the only one with a direct tangible solvency argument that obviously outweighs on trade the link because you conceded all the case solvency arguments about tangible conditions of oppression. Now go to number first. No internal link. It is not a white gratitude argument that you should vote for me just because I'm a white savior that attempts to do it. You should vote for me because the plan is uniquely a good idea. There's no part of the 1AC that says you should vote for me because I'm white, but because I'm white, you should also evaluate the consequences of the plan against the counterplan as opposed to our representations or the race of me because that just abstracts us and brings us to ideal theories, but we never actually get to talk about the concrete nature of oppression. That's Grade 14 from the top of the 1AC. Also, sports are a vehicle for social change, which means that the speech act of the 1AC is not necessarily a bad thing. That's from the 1AC. Either way, you say that white people cannot relate, but that is not a reason to vote against me. Either way, cross-racial lines is key to recognizing Black Lives Matter. 2, gains CML 15 demonstrations have the potential to embody equality. People engage in concerted action to cross-racial lines build equality. Only through cross-racial struggle against racism can we achieve a sense that all lives really do matter.
Where are you going?
No. The order is going to be case, number, count. Alright. Is everybody ready? Remember, this debate comes down to who's going to be able to deconstruct structural violence that exists within the status quo. Someone said, if I win enough sufficient turns on the affirmative, that is sufficient enough for you to pull the trigger for the negative because he's re-entrenching system. The only argument that he has is basically a trier argument that says that at least we feed the slave, at least we can feed them, so that is sufficient enough. That's the same way that the slave master constantly used that mentality. We feed them, but we keep on whipping them, we keep forcing them to do a pit call, and we never actually stop at the institution. This is directly going to link to the conceded wolf evidence. Wolf evidence was co-conceded, extended across the globe. Wolf evidence specifically talks about the way in which the living wage constantly tries to mask issues in different forms of oppression. Specifically talks about the examples of capitalism, feudalism, and slavery, and how the master would constantly give them little things, give them food, give them rest. That's the way in which they alleviate their exploitation, but still continue to exploit them behind the scenes. This is a straight turn to the affirmative and takes out any type of office that he could potentially have. The only office that he could have gone for was the mindset shift coming out of the Curry 14 evidence. Curry 14 evidence, but this is literally foreclosed by the wolf evidence. Additionally, he tries to take out the insights coming out of the Curry evidence by saying that at least his attempt is tangible. At least the attempt is tangible. Mine is abstract. However, first off, black nationalism is not abstract. I give specific examples in which little manifestations of black nationalism take place. We have the black lawyers in Washington D.C. We see that black incarceration rates go a lot lower. We do not need to put hands in the powers of white institutions. We see it in little instances that black people can handle themselves. Stop telling us what to do. Additionally, the Curry evidence specifically talks about how you control the dialogue in terms of the potentiality of whiteness. Your entire affirmative is based on the fact that the NCAA or the USFG is going to have a mindset shift. This is extremely problematic because we're always going to have this discussion controlled by white people. We're always going to be concerned with what white people think, but not what black people are talking about. They're the ones who are being structurally violated. They're the ones who need to be prioritized. This is conceded. Additionally, the arguments of the Farley evidence also doesn't apply because he once again applies the, at least I give the food example, but the Farley evidence is specifically talking about the perfection of the slave. Not only are you fattening them up, but you're actually allowing for them to continue to be oppressed in the system. The Farley evidence specifically indict the plan taxes as well as the demanding rights within the institution. He's not dealing with the arguments coming out of the Farley. Just because you extend your cuts doesn't mean that you're not extending them through ink. Additionally, he says that at least I help solve poverty, but so long as the wolf evidence is specifically taking this out and saying you do not actually solve poverty, you only mask the issue and allow for the exploitation to happen behind the scenes. It doesn't help. Additionally, he's not dealing with the commodification arguments that are going to happen regardless of whether you give them the living wage or not. They're still going to be pimped out by the media. They're still going to make money off of their commercial. They're still going to make money off of their bodies. This commodification is extremely problematic and allows for the structural violence to happen. Just because we put it under a different system doesn't necessarily mean that structural doesn't happen off of the affirmative. It's clear way in which you can vote negative, especially off the wolf evidence, which prevents any type of mindset shift that can happen. Additionally, all the arguments that he extended off of affirmative aren't going to matter because I do include a dialogue about sports. I do specifically talk about it, but I'm turning him under his own standard. That's how debate functions, Bennett. You probably should have answered it. Now it's an offer. On number, he's not sufficiently talking about it because he assumes that the link is coming out from the fact that I'm saying that we should vote for him, but because he said that he's white, but that's not the argument. Not for the, what was it? Oh, the index coming from the right evidence that specifically talk about how black people are mad at Obama doesn't necessarily make sense because just because Obama doesn't necessarily reach out to the black community doesn't mean that they're pissed off at him, right? He makes statements like Black Lives Matter that alleviates hope in the black community. Rather, we're saying that he needs to stop funding naturally pass a racist policy in order for people to stop believing in the faith of Obama. Additionally, that means that the net benefit still plans a really racist nation of the plan is key. He is going to try to get out of this by saying slavery didn't spread black nationalism, but rather was killed by the civil rights movement. We made demands within the system per the Farley evidence, and that's what killed these movements. Rather, we have to completely move away. That's why the Price 33 evidence that talks about black interdependence that contextualizes and maybe an NCAA that functions within black communities will always be better. We don't need to function with the affirmative. The alternative self alone, but you can simply vote off of the terms on the affirmative. He's not dealing with enough warrants. That is sufficient enough to negate.
I'm gonna go for it. Wait, I'm gonna pause it. Is this where you marked it?
I stuck it
I think it was followers.
Yeah, followers.
Okay, cool. Case, Nopper, black nationalism. Is everyone good? These are good. Excuse me a second. Are you good? You respond to the trier argument at the top of the case, but you do not respond to the most important argument that was made in the 1AR, which is the extension of the 3-point in the framework. That is Kaufman and Wolf 10, which is that sports are a necessary vehicle for social change. They're a way that we can change empirical things about the world and lead to other changes later on. This is 100% conceded, which means that I do get the spillover claim. Her extensions are things like you definitely perfect the slave, but when I said if they eat, then that is sufficient. The problem is that will not be viewed as sufficient in the world of the plan. This is conceded. It is also a reason that the plan solves the net benefit of black nationalism. I think this argument is very, very clear. That discussion that you said is very, very clear that good things in sports will spill over to good things happening later on, which solves all of the net benefits and solves tangible conditions of oppression in addition to just people being able to eat. It's conceded, which means that you're not getting offense on it. You say that your only, I guess, pseudo response is that yes, I talk about sports, so I link, but no, that is not the argument. The argument is a net benefit of the policy, that the policy that passes something in the realm of sports will spill over into other areas to attempt to solve other forms of oppression. That is 100% conceded, which is a reason that the F, is a good idea. Either way, there's no uniqueness for the turnstile case absent the counterplan. There was a ton of oppression that exists in the status quo. The slave is all you've already tried to perfect the slave over and over again, which means that if I have any risk that the 1AC results in some sort of spillover, then you vote for me. Or both evidence says that there is no movements, but there are no movements in the status quo either. You need uniqueness when it turns, so you cannot vote for her on case next. Sending McCormick and McCormick 10 evidence that white people uniquely attempt to profit off of black performance in the context of sports. And Moorhead 13 evidence that and Moorhead 13 that this is a crucial first step to reforming the NCAA and cause this spillover later on. Now, go to Nopper, so you vote out on case. Now go to Nopper. First, you have not articulated a reason that I should not going to read the app. You say that we should not rely on white people as a part of our coalition, but that's not a reason uniquely to vote against me. Nothing in the 1AC uniquely fosters white people that white people have to leave the coalition. It just says there are two arguments. A point, it just says that white people could be a part of the coalition, but not necessarily the key critical part. This is her misinterpretation of the anti-Butler evidence. It doesn't say that you have to rely on white people. It just says that cross-racial movements will add power to different movements. You also see that sports are a vehicle for social change, which means that the dialogue about sports in the 1AC is efficient to take out this argument. You've also conceded a framing issue that you should not vote on not, or even if you went to BT, you should evaluate the consequences of the plan versus the consequences of the counter plan, because that's the only way. Because that's the only way that we can avoid the idealizations that Curry talks about. She says avoid idealizations and avoid idealizations because white people never help. But that is obviously not the argument. The argument is that if we can find some empirical change or talk about some empirical way that would be comparatively better, the My Speech Act is still good. Now go to black nationalism. You don't spend enough time here. You have functionally conceded the 1A argument that people are already pissed off, that empirically denies that empirically denies your self argument. That's right, 13. You say just because he hasn't done good things doesn't mean they're pissed at him, but call for the card. It really says that they are getting angry at Obama and nothing has happened, which empirically denies your self claim. Means that the counterplan does not solve, it just screws more people over. It also doesn't cause that vehicle for social change that the alternative does, which means that the app is better. It will result in some sort of movement for social change, but in the meantime, people are actually able to eat, which is a net benefit. You're doing the app over the counterplan.